is Sky One, a part of the British Sky Broadcasting Network.
In an hour, Justin Lee Collins returns with Bring Back, the show that brings back the very worst of popular culture. This week, Justin Lee Collins. That's Bring Back Justin Lee Collins with Justin Lee Collins in an hour. But first, Dr. Macclevoid's here with the movies. Tonight, because 6 aren't enough, it's Scream 7! Yeah, bloody hell, what's going on with all the Scream movies, etc., etc.? What is going on with Scream movies? Well, you'll remember there was a bit of controversy after Scream 6. No, not that it was watchable and enjoyable and continued the arc established in Scream 5 with sort of fresh blood and new talent and God forbid we might actually be intrigued or engaged in some level. That wasn't the controversy. No, the controversy was that one of the stars of Scream 6 was pro-Palestine. And that politicised a movie series which frankly isn't very political, is it? I mean, I don't know about you, but when I want to know what's going on in the world, when I want to get a sense of where my moral compass should be or what my geopolitical understanding is, I don't think to myself, what would the cast of Scream think? I don't look them up. I don't call Jenna Ortega and say, can you fill me in because I just can't think for myself? Is it Israel or is it Palestine? Which is it? Can you solve it for me? People are entitled to talk about their political beliefs, of course, outside of work. Why shouldn't they? We don't live in a tyranny, do we? Or unless you live in Iran. It's a bit of politics. So, we can talk about it, can't we? But the problem in Hollywood is that when anybody expresses a view that might be considered, shall we say, borderline anti-Semitic, I say borderline, of course, because there is a distinction between Judaism and Zionism. They're instantly ostracised / cancelled. It's not something that one says in polite society in Hollywood. You don't talk about it. So, all of a sudden, we've got a Scream sequel that was set up to continue and conclude a 3-picture arc, which has been summarily cancelled. Star of the show didn't want to be in it. Jenna Ortega wouldn't be in it if she wasn't in it. So there's no movie. The new talent has flown. It's gone. Sorry. You wanted to know what was going to happen after Thingy put the mask in her bag at the end of Scream 6. Oh, is she going to become the killer now? She's been so traumatised by her experiences that she's going to become Ghostface. That would be something like, I don't know, psychological intrigue in a movie that's ostensibly just about sort of riffing on old junk popular cultural staples. That might be interesting. But no, we're not going to get that. So what the hell do you do when all the creative, I say talent in the broader sense, involved in a particular movie franchise does not wish to continue and jumps from the boat only 2 films into a 3-film series? Well, you've got to start again, haven't you? And what does that mean? Well, there's only one idea in Hollywood, isn't there? And that's the Legacy sequel. Don't dare take a chance on a brand new set of characters because that would just antagonise the fan base. The fan base either want to see the people they know or they want to see the people that they've come to know recently. They were willing to be introduced to new characters on the back of the old characters 2 movies ago, but not now. Not now they've invested in another 2 movies and got to know those characters. Those characters have become the old characters. So what do you do? Well, Hollywood had absolutely no idea. The Legacy sequel is the only game in town, you know. Could we do something staggeringly original with Scream 7? Could you reinvent the whole thing? Could you start again? Could you find a new route into this tired formula? It's a scary movie based on old scary movies in which everybody's aware of the genre. Well, that ship sailed a long time ago. Nobody cares. No one's cared about that for 30 years. And yes, it's been 30 years since the first Scream movie. Everyone involved should be past this by now, shouldn't they? Don't they have other things to do? Poor old Matthew Lillard, who's, in this one, reprising his role as Stu from the first one, though maybe, spoiler, not really, maybe he's just an AI deepfake of that character. Well, he's got nowhere better to be than here, to doing this now. When he appears in crap like this, you can understand why he's not in Tarantino's black book of actors that whose career he wants to revive. Toot sweet. What did they do in the end? On the back of all of this meta commentary, on the back of all of this nonsense that had nothing to do with Scream or its undemanding fan base. Well, they went for that Legacy sequel. They paid Neve Campbell $7 million to reprise her role as Sidney Prescott. Come on back, Neve. Don't worry, you won't be doing anything different, really. It's the easiest payday you've ever had. And it's even better because you're sort of a toughened up Sidney, so you don't have to scream anymore. You might have to do a bit of crying, a bit of emoting toward the end, but not much more than that. So they bring her back in, they pay, slip, a few old characters some cash for some contrived cameo appearances, and they build your classic Legacy story. It's happening to the child of the old series principal character. Sidney Prescott's daughter has been hunted by Ghostface. He's got a problem with that family. What could it be? Maybe the new Ghostface is just tired of them surviving every movie. Enough is enough. I'm going to be the one who's finally going to put a stop to this. Sidney's relocated to a new town called Pine Cove or Pine Grove or somewhere like that. Some little middling American town somewhere. It's nice and quiet. The daughter's got her good-looking friends, and of course she's got lots of creepy male friends. All the teen boys in this movie, who are probably in reality about 26, 27 years old, look like psychos. They have to, right? Everyone's a suspect, so they've all got to look a bit creepy. There's the bully from the Fabelmans and some doe-eyed guy who looks like he would attack you on the way home, and so on and so on. Is it one of them? Is it Stu back from the dead? Is it a combination of all of the above? Because there are only so many permutations this bloody thing can go through, right? I mean, Scream's done it all. It's been one killer, it's been two killers. They were about to have the hero, or rather the heroine, become the killer, but they junked that idea. Would have been more interesting. The superfans being the killer. My God, the only one who hasn't been the killer is me. Everybody's been tried out. Every combination. It's one killer, it's two, it's three. It's the audience. Got to bring somebody in who understands the formula, understands the movies, can try and make it a bit more interesting. So who do they decide on? Well, they decide on original screenwriter Kevin Williamson. Come on back, Kevin. Write us a Scream movie just like you did in the old days. Make it good, would you? By the way, nobody wants to direct this movie. because, you know, there's been a bit of a political fallout, and it, you know, everyone's bored to death of it anyway. Would you mind doing it? Well, I'm just a writer. Yeah, I know, but you know the movie, you know the characters. Could you do it? I don't have, you know, I don't have Wes Craven's eye. Nobody does, Kevin. Poor old Wes is in the ground, so he won't be directing. And his imitators in Scream 5 and 6, they did an okay job, didn't they? It was a sort of, you know, Matalan version of Wes Craven, imitation Wes Craven. It was all right. Didn't quite have his eye, his ability to judge space and to move the camera, to sort of manipulate the audience, generate shocks, and of course jump scares and all the rest of it. They had a go. They tried. Kevin, do you want to go for no reason other than you got name recognition and the audience will be intrigued to see what you do with it? All right, great. And so he directs as well as writes. And the result, I'm afraid to tell you, is a sort of point and click exercise. Kevin is not Wes Craven. Nobody called Kevin really should ever direct a movie. Just the same way that someone called Keith or Darren should never be given a camera. They should. Darren Aronofsky. But even then, some would say, but it's not a golden rule, all right? There's no absolutes in this world. So, what do we get ultimately? Well, Scream 7 plays a bit like a sort of middling school reunion. The people you want to show up are either dead or they didn't come. So the people who do show up, well, I suppose it's nice to see them. Oh, hi Neve, hi Courtney Cox, who's had a lot of work done. Nice to see you. How's things? How are the other friends since Matt Perry died? A reunion now, I suppose. But maybe that's just as well. Look what happens when you do return to things you used to do. We could have had an interesting Scream 7, but instead we've got a sort of half-hearted trip down memory lane. A legacy sequel that nobody wanted, but has been imposed on us. It's worked from a box office point of view because, of course, these things do work. It's the old Force Awakens formula, isn't it? Return to the original story, return to the original characters, and here's some new people as well. But to pull this off as well we know, there's got to be a lot of chutzpah behind the camera, a lot of moxie, a lot of directorial flair. What I'm talking about is style. And horror movies, particularly a movie series like Scream, live or die on whether or not they are stylish and suitably manipulative in their efforts. If you take that out, you have the Scary Movie series, which I'm sure you know is one of the most deadeningly unfunny things in the universe. This show aside. So, is there any point to it all? I mean, the whole series used to be sold on the basis of postmodernism, back when postmodernism was fashionable. Ooh, isn't it postmodern? Look, the characters know what we know. We know about Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and things like that. It's great. Aren't we clever for recognising those things, and aren't they clever for saying them? In 1996, perhaps. In 2026, no. The problem is, when you can't go down that avenue, all you've got left is a real movie, and you've got to make it work like a real movie, because you can't trade on being self-referential. You can't trade on being clever. You've got to deliver the meat and potato thrills that we expect in this kind of crap. And I'm sorry to tell you that, with the exception of one inventive kill in a bar featuring an optic sort of beer kind of dispensary thing, there's nothing in this movie that's memorable or morbidly funny or interesting. It's incredibly rote and by the numbers. You could have made it, and there could scarcely be a more awful criticism of it than that. At the end of this movie, the actors turn up, they're all self-congratulatory, they're like actors in sitcoms, as their name appears, but what are they patting themselves on the back for? For showing up? It's like saying, they're almost looking through the camera to say, you love us, and we sort of love you, except when you're being intrusive, and can you believe we're here, and we're back? Isn't that wonderful? And I thought of a New Year's Eve many years ago when I was in a club in Islington, Club de Fromage. And it was a strange evening in which the A-team actor Dirk Benedict appeared on stage looking kind of downtrodden and heavy-set and embarrassed. And he was introduced by the compere, if you like, and a sort of ironic cheer went out through the pissed-up audience. I admit I was in that audience, but I didn't do too much ironic cheering. And, yeah, you had to watch as a mattress was thrown into the crowd, and they sort of crowd surfed it over their heads. That's how I felt watching all the cast of Scream 7 go through the motions. It was very much like what would have happened if Old Face had shown up in an 18 movie in which he'd had to save his daughter from a local protection racket. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Scream 7, Certificate 18 for strong bloody violence. I'm afraid is a dud. It's a miss. It's boring. And there's just not enough here to sustain you beyond referring back to movies that were better and which you enjoyed in the past. If that's what you want from a sequel, lap it up. But remember, by going to see it at the cinema, you're encouraging them to make more. And on this evidence, without new talent, without both behind the camera and in front of it, there is nothing more to do here. It's done. They don't have any new ideas. There's nowhere for the story to go. It's finished. Let's let it die, shall we, once and for all? To quote Tom Sizemore in Strange Days, they used it all up. Well, that's it, as you were!
It's a Scream, baby!